it's Leila from the Comic Connection with this week's comic book reviews. First up, we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 601, written by Mark Waid with art by Mario Alberti. In this one, Peter wakes up the morning after Aunt May's wedding with a bit of a headache and not much memory of what he did the night before, and a woman is lying next to him in his bed. The day continues with Spidey saving about 20 office workers from a burning building, and then he heads out to meet MJ, who never shows up. There's also a backup story in here called The Best Version of Myself, written by Bendis with art by Quesada, where Spidey gives a pep talk to Mrs. Jones' cage, and the big question is, will she don her costume again? It wasn't a really big deal to me, but they said it's supposed to be continued in New Avengers, so I guess you'll have to watch for that if you're interested. But overall, I have to say that not much really happens in this book, besides Peter possibly having to move out of the apartment he's currently staying in. And maybe there being some sort of MJ mystery, like was there a reason why she slept in and missed her date with Peter, or was it, no good reason at all? I'm interested to see if that goes anywhere, but other than that, I didn't really like the story in this, and the art wasn't that great either. So overall, not an awesome Spidey book for me, other than the fact that MJ is back, which I'm really stoked about, so you just have to keep reading to see where it goes. Next up, we've got Ghost Rider's Heaven's on Fire, number 1 of 6. It's written by Jason Aaron and art by Roland Boschke. In this one, angelic assassins have slaughtered a bunch of Satanists who are trying to build a demon spawn. They tried several times, and except one escapes, and so the Antichrist is on the run, and Hellstorm, the son of Satan, vows to destroy him. At the same time, Johnny, with the help of Sister Sarah, is trying to get to Zadkiel. They just have to find a way to get into heaven to get to him. And it turns out that first they have to save the Antichrist to save the world. Also, there's a backup reprint of Ghost Rider number 1 in here. I loved the story. I wasn't crazy about the art so much, but I really liked the story. I don't read a lot of Ghost Rider, but I gotta say that I really enjoyed this one. As a new Ghost Rider reader, I could really get into it. Even though there was some backstory that was explained in the beginning of the book, it wasn't hard to jump onto. So if you're interested in picking up a Ghost Rider book, this is the place to start. And last but not least, we've got Captain America Reborn, number 2 of 5, written by Ed Brubaker and art by Brian Hitch. In this one, Steve is reliving old memories, including the day he was reborn. Natasha and Becky fight the Dark Avengers, Natasha and Bucky. Reed Richards runs some tests on Sharon, and Norman makes an offer to Crossbones and Sin and gives an ultimatum to Bucky and Natasha. Another really great book. I'm still really not sure how they're going to accomplish the whole Steve coming back thing, but I'm really enjoying reading it. The art is just amazing, and the story is really good. If you're not reading this Captain America book, you really should be.
Hey folks, Jim here with this week's comic book reviews. First up, Incarnate number 1, written and drawn by Nick Simmons with help by Matt Dalton. In this one, the Revenant known as Mott was once known as a god, but now searches the earth for a purpose. And when a secret society discovers a way to kill the Revenants, Mott must make a choice, hunt or be hunted. I like this one, not so much after a second look. It's very minimalistic. There's a lot of art references towards Hellsing, One Piece. There's a few other animes I can pick out and mangas. It's almost like he's ripping right from the other books. And I mean that literally. You look at the books, and if you're any manga fan, you're going to know it on sight. Other than that, it's not bad for a first book. It's not horrible. It's just not something I can highly recommend. Next up, BloodRayne Prime Cuts number 4, written and drawn by Chad Lambert, Oscar Balzadula, and Pau Rodriguez. In this one, it features 3 all-new stories following Rain as she deals with alligators in the sewers and a time-traveling vampire. I'll say this much. It's better than the Uwe Boll films. Other than that, another bleh issue. I can't really recommend it as well. Art's okay, and story is meh at best. But if you're a BloodRayne fan, because there hasn't been a video game in a few years, you might want to try it out, pick it up if you want. And last but not least, Buffy number 27, written by Jane Espenson with art by Georges Jeantet. And in this one, in the mountains of Tibet, Oz has found peace, but that peace is shattered when Buffy and company show up, followed closely by Twilight. And another really good issue by Espenson and Jeantet. Not bad art, really good story. It's really kicking up in quality here, folks, just as apparently Angel is too. So if you're a fan of Buffy, this is a must.
Hi
Hi everyone, it's Crystal with this week's comic book reviews. Up first, we have Angel number 24, with story by Lynch and art by Uru. This story surrounds Drusilla. Yay. Drew is in an asylum, and not all of her doctors know what she is. They think being a vampire is part of her delusion, but some of them are in on it or helping her cover up her murderous spree. However, by the end of this issue, almost everyone in the hospital is dead. One of her psychologists tells her to keep a journal, which I think is a really cool idea. I can't wait to see what she writes. Well, I have to say, I liked it. I liked the story, and somehow Uru's art didn't seem nearly so blurry, and I liked that too. And I could even tell who the characters were, and their facial features and everything. It was awesome. 2 thumbs up. Way to go. Up next we have Hangman, the one-shot, with story by Straczynski and art by Darenick. A doctor during the War of Independence is left behind by his battalion and is accused of spying and unfairly sentenced to hang. However, a mysterious stranger gives him the option of either being the champion of the wrongly accused or dying. So of course he chooses being the champion of being the wrongly accused. So, now he's a doctor by day and a hangman by night. I have to say I enjoyed both the art and the story in this issue. However, I thought that the depiction of the character on the cover was nicer than the depiction of the character inside, where he kind of looked like steroid-fueled and much bigger. But I can't wait to see what happens with the rest of the Red Circle titles, and I think it was a really good launch and origin story for this character. And finally, we have Masters of Evil, number 1 of 4, with story by Gage and art by Garcia. In this title, a group of non-mutant supervillains get together under the direction of Red Hood, which is kind of like the Cloak, only red. They decide to rob a Sentinel manufacture center for the raw precious metals, and they succeed in taking down 2 Sentinels, which is something one of the other characters says they haven't seen since Magneto. So the art was good, and the story was good, and I think it's really nice to see in the Marvel Universe what the non-mutants are doing since M-Day. Interesting. Also, the Red Hood seems like a pretty cool supervillain, so I'm definitely going to keep reading this one. I think you should too. Thanks very much!